Hello friends, James Stevenson back with part 4 in my Tesla earnings forecast video review series for Q4 2022. I am joined today by my co-host, Loki, who may not be doing a lot of work on this video as usual. Let's jump right back to where we left off, which was talking about this chart, Adjusted EBITDA, and another chart that I won't go to because it's too far away on slide 18. That had the glowing green outline bars of FSD revenue per vehicle. So watch parts 1, 2, and 3 first before you watch this one, so you're up to speed, and I'll run you into, I clicked the wrong button. Let's talk about the next chart from my forecast thread that I tweeted out a week ago, which was how Tesla makes its average dollar of revenue. You know, some people say Tesla makes most of their revenue from government subsidies, and those people are what I like to refer to as wrong. What you can see on this page are that the regulatory credit sales in orange peaked back here at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, as a percent of Tesla's revenue, which is all this is. It's titled How Tesla Makes Its Average Dollar of Revenue, which is a good way to title it, but these are just showing percent of revenue. That's what's going on here. So in Q3 of 2022, the most recent quarter of actuals on this page, Tesla had 83% of its revenue driven by automotive sales excluding regulatory credits. These are good old-fashioned sales of automobiles, right? That is how Tesla makes most of its money. And that 83 cents has been holding steady for a while. Now, these are all on a 12 trailing month basis, so they are smoothed some to kind of cut out the noise that happens with seasonality. If I were to show you what each quarter's percentages are, it's better to include one of each quarter every time, which is how using trailing 12-month averages helps to automatically adjust out seasonality from your data, which is why a lot of people do it. But I've got in Q4 83 cents again, and then next year I've got this rising 84 cents, 85 cents in my forecast quarters. So Tesla's going to be making most of their money from selling automobiles for a long time into the future, is my expectation. Then what else is here? Well, we've still got about a penny worth of regulatory credit sales. It's small as a percent of the total now, the smallest number on the page, actually. With automotive leasing coming in right next to it in blue, the darker blue here. 2 or 3 cents is my expectation. Then the energy division is holding steady at, 4 or 5 cents out of the average dollar of Tesla's revenue, with everything else combined, services and other, making up the rest, 7 cents-ish. So that's how Tesla makes its average dollar of revenue. The next chart is the companion, or the sister chart to this one, how Tesla spends its average dollar of revenue. So you've got that dollar of revenue. What are its obligations? What has to be paid out of that dollar? Well, the first thing you have to pay for is the cost of manufacturing those automobiles that people bought, right? Most of your revenue is coming from selling cars, so most of your costs are going to be directly related to producing those vehicles. So what are these? These are raw materials. These are parts that you buy from auto suppliers. Tesla makes a lot in-house, but they also buy stuff from other companies that goes into the cars. It's the labor associated with the people who work on the assembly line. Really anybody who works at a factory location. Any cost of that factory, including stuff like utilities, even the stock-based compensation that goes to those workers, counts as part of the automotive cost of sales of delivering what the buyer bought to them. Then in the energy costs division, these are about as much as the revenue was for energy, right? So energy is not making a ton of profit. The costs of running the energy division are almost as high as the revenues. Loki is trying to bark at something. What's going on, buddy? Come here. Yes. Love you, Loki. All right, let's get you into the frame so people can see you. It's okay. I just need to talk through the rest of this chart, and then the video will be over, buddy. All right, he's being a little bit more vocal today than usual. So, services and other are becoming a smaller and smaller portion of Tesla's overall costs. So Tesla only spends about 7 cents per dollar of revenue on services and other. The problem is they're only making 7 cents worth of revenue on services and others. So that's not a very profitable area of the business. Then what else do you have to pay for when you're a big corporation? Well, you got to pay for research and development. So the design team, Franz von Holzhausen and his crew, and all the other costs related to figuring out how to make the cool stuff Tesla will sell in the future gets recorded as research and development expenses. Then a lot of other stuff goes into SG&A, selling, general and administrative expenses, excluding stock compensation. So these are like headquarters type expenses and, you know, marketing and legal and finance and everything else you would need a corporate headquarters to pay for. And then you've got everything else, excluding stock compensation, because we're looking at the total non-GAAP earnings as the green bar, right? If you don't spend it, then it hits your non-GAAP earnings. That's the kind of earnings that Wall Street cares about. So as you can see, Tesla has been getting more and more profitable every quarter and is now at an industry-leading 17% non-GAAP earnings margin after tax. That's pretty great. That's world-class profitability, and I expect that world-class profitability to continue into the future. So if you don't spend the entire dollar on costs, what's left over that did not get spent becomes non-GAAP earnings, and that's what this chart shows. And that's my video for today. So with that, we'll check in on Loki. He's doing all right. And I'll say if you've enjoyed today's video, click the like button. Don't forget, let the algorithm know that you liked this video. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Click the alert bells to get notified if you want to know when I post fresh content. And thank you to everybody who supports me on Patreon or by joining my YouTube channel, especially Kathy Kitchler and Halter Ferguson Financial, who joined at the highest support tier. And I'll see you in the next one.